Okay, welcome again. Hopefully the quiz went well. Um, Again, today's all about continuity. So let's go look at the quiz. All right, so here's the quiz. And we just have 4 limits to find. And what's always the very first thing you should do when you're finding a limit? It's the very first thing, huh?
Plug in.
Yeah, plug in. Okay, so if you plug in -2, what is 5 times -2 squared plus 7 times -2 minus 6?
0.
Yeah, that is 0. And hopefully you know -2 plus 2. You better be able to see that 0 really fast. But you get 0 over 0. So let's just write that out. You got to do it this way. There we go. That's 0 over 0. And do you remember, does 0 over 0 mean it doesn't exist? What do you think?
No,
Yeah,
gotta work it out algebraically.
Yeah, it means do algebra. And hopefully it's obvious. This isn't one we do trig. Should be
Is
obvious.
it okay on the quiz if you write do algebra on the problems or no?
Sorry, one more time.
Is it okay that we do if we write the do algebra on the quiz, like once we get 0 over 0 and we write do algebra, is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay if you write do algebra, but now we got to do the algebra.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I wrote it. So I'm writing it as kind of a model. Is I'm showing my work, which is you plug in, you get 0 over 0. So I wrote do algebra. And now it's time to do some algebra. And I think the easiest way to do this is actually to edit this guy. Again, you could do it, in longhand, but it's easier to just edit this guy. And I can do some copying and pasting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy and paste. And now we already found it was 0 over 0. So because the numerator is 0 when you plug in -2, what do we know one of the factors is?
X plus 2.
Yeah, x plus 2. That's part of the fundamental theorem of algebra. Remember last time we talked about that. It makes it a whole lot easier. What do I have to multiply x by to get 5x squared? That's supposed to be pretty easy. X times what?
5x minus 3.
Yeah, so I multiply x by 5x to get 5x squared, so I get 5x. And then I need to multiply 2 by -3 to get the -6. So again, you don't have to spend a lot of time factoring because it's kind of already done for you. Okay, yeah, so the easiest way of showing your work on this, when you have something fancy like this, is just click on it and then edit it, copy and paste. Okay, so now we're pretty good. I'm going to copy and paste this guy. I love copy and paste.
I just wanted to ask about, is it just obvious that x plus 2 is one of the factors of that because it's present there already? Or is it just like some algebraic thing that I'm missing?
Yeah, it's an algebraic thing you're missing, so let me tell you what it is. So we already plugged in and got 0, right? We got 0 over 0, right? So there's a theorem in mathematics called the fundamental theorem of algebra. And part of that is that if f of k is equal to 0, then x minus k is a factor. So f of -2 is 0, so x minus -2 is a factor. Does that make sense? Okay, and that's part of the fundamental theorem of algebra. Yeah, so that's really important. It just makes it so much easier, doesn't it? Otherwise, you got to do diamond method or AC method, and it'll take you too long. Yeah, so again, remember, one of the things is that quizzes are not worth a lot of points. So if you don't get a high score on the quiz, it's not something you should worry too much about. But what they're there for is to practice so that when you get to the exam, then you know how to do it right. And the exam are worth, that's where the points are. So that's just a note. So you shouldn't stress out if you didn't get the quiz perfect, but after doing the quiz and watching me do it, you have learned about the quiz. Okay, and you've learned about the calculus and how to do stuff. That's the most important thing, so that when you get to the exam, you'll get it. Okay, because the exam is similar to the quizzes, just many questions instead of just, a few. Because the exam, you get 2 hours, basically. Okay, so we're getting there. So now what can we do? What can we do with this x plus 2, 5x minus 3 over x plus 2? The answer is really
Cancel.
nice.
You can cancel the x plus 2.
Exactly. We can cancel the x plus 2. And we get that. 5x minus 3 over 1. Okay, what do you always do right after you cancel?
Plug in.
We plug in. This isn't supposed to be hard. What is 5 times negative 2 minus 3 over 1?
Negative
Isn't supposed to
13.
be- Yeah, negative 13. It's supposed to be pretty easy arithmetic. Negative 13. Any questions on that? And there we have it. The one thing you do have to remember, it's a disaster if you don't, is scroll down and hit insert equation. If you forget to do that, then it erases everything. So that's just a big note. Okay, now let's look at part B. What's the first thing we should do?
Plug in.
Plug in. So what is 2 times 3 squared minus 5 times 3 minus 1? Yeah, it's 2. Guess what? This is not 0 over 0. This is 2 over, and what's 3 cubed minus 5 times 3 minus 11? That's 1. 2 over 1, we're done. Okay, don't even think about factoring this guy. Okay, we're done. If you plug in and it's beautiful, then you smile. Got it? It's not a trick question. It's always the first step is to plug in. All right, let's look at part C. Let's plug in. Okay. Obviously, if you plug in 0 for x, you get 0. What is the cosecant of 0?
1 over sine x.
Yeah, but in particular, 1 over sine of 0, right? And 1 over sine of 0 is 1 over 0, so you get 0 over 0. So I'm going to copy and paste this to algebra because that's what we have to do. Okay, and this is where I'm getting a little bit expansive on algebra. I'm calling trig algebra also. So we have to do algebra or do trig, whatever you want to call it in this case. So I'm going to jump in here. And I'm going to say equal. I'm going to copy and paste this limit.